when I want. It is actually something that is given out in exchange for value. So how do I give out value to get money? I see parents who engage their teenage boys in a lot of exercise to give them money.
Okay, I was just going to ask that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, go and wash my car, and then I'll give you this. It's not that the parent wants to punish the child.
Yes.
They are teaching them that money is an exchange for value. So if you need money, and I'm taking that, you can wash my car.
Yes.
I'll give it to you. I'll be happy to give it to you. Okay, Dad, I'll go and wash it. Off he goes. He washed the car. He comes back. He gets his money. He's happy. Next time, he'll be the one to tell his dad, Dad, can I wash your car? Now, the dad might not necessarily accept, because, of course, you are still my child. I can ask you to wash my car. But he's trying to give him a certain level of discipline.
Yes.
So, like I was saying, there are certain levels of education that must be gotten from the home. And that is financial discipline.
Yes.
It begins from the house.
Yes.
There's sincerity. So the role parents play in helping their teenage boys build financial discipline is they don't even realize it. So a whole lot of things boils down to that. And what parents do these days, because they have paid so much of an amount for school fee, they tend to absorb their responsibilities to the schools, which is not necessarily right. Right? The schools cannot teach your child sincerity.
Yes.
The schools cannot teach your child godliness. The schools cannot teach your child to obey the traffic lights. They need to see you do these things practically. So you are driving in the car with your son, and then you stopped for the traffic light, even though there are no oncoming cars. He has picked up a lesson from there.
Yes.
So you go to the supermarket, and your son is, or your teenage boy is asking for video game, what have you, that, whatever he wants, and you're saying no. He wants a smartphone at the age of 12 or 13. You say, no, it's not time for this. You know, those boundaries that you are setting as a parent is very important for their growth and development. Because if the money is there as it is, and then you just want to buy them everything, you are leading them to destruction. You think you are actually trying to give them what they want, but it's leading to their destruction. So parents have a great role to play in helping teenage boys navigate financial discipline, which is how they spend money in the presence of the teenage boy.
Okay.
How do you actually use money? Are you extravagant? Are you giving them everything they have requested whenever they request for it? Because that is passing an information to the child that I can just get money anytime I want.
Yes.
Which is not good. So when he doesn't get it, he's looking for other means. So you should start teaching them, when I give you money, I expect you to save this amount.
Yes.
So that next time when you need money and I don't have it, you can go back to your savings, test money. Those are all the rules that, and schools will not teach you this. Schools are not going to be the one. It's not the responsibility of schools to teach this to the teenage boy. It is the responsibility of parents.
Okay.
And it happens in the house.
Okay. There's a question in my mind, but before I ask that question, and that question just stemmed from the level of discipline that you are talking about, and then this funny question just came to my mind. But before I ask that question, we're going to now open the phone lines for our listeners to call in and join this conversation. So if you're listening to us right now, we would love to hear you. We would love to hear what you have to say in this conversation. Please call us in on 0903 2229797. 0903 2229797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205. 0818-222205. This is a realistic question, and that's why I'm asking it. We live in a society where we have the haves and the have-nots. The haves and the have-nots think differently. You know, someone made a post about a certain celebrity who did not get married, who chose to have a boyfriend, and they've been together for 38 years, but they've never been married. And the person, so now for a child who have parents who have enough, the parents are thinking differently. The children are growing in the community of people thinking differently. So sometimes they may not even see material things as anything. Of course, I've seen children get totally spoiled and damaged. Like their discipline and moral standards have been damaged by being over spoiled or over pampered. But now, can we say that there is a different application or level of discipline. A bicycle for the child of 5 years old is not a problem, but for the person who does not have, you are going to now. These are real matters. There is a place you are living in, or there is a place that you find yourself. Because you don't have it, you now decide that you are going to teach your child that, hey, you don't need a bicycle, you can actually walk. Do you know that when we were small, we used to walk from with my niece some days back? It was her birthday, and I asked her, oh, what am I going to buy for you? And she said, bicycle. I have money to buy you bicycle. What else do you want? She said she doesn't want any other thing. Okay, so what do you need this bicycle for? Like, well, when they send her on errands, she can be using the bicycle to run the errands. So now I have a different mentality. There is probably somebody who's going to be like, are you mad? You need bicycle to be running around. How many children do you see in this environment using bicycles to run around? So where do we draw the balance of discipline? Where do we draw the balance of discipline, really? Are we saying that, are there certain things that are certain things that are really of value? So some things that if you have it, provide it for your child. If you don't have it, be honest with your child. We don't have this right now. Not to try to teach the child that, oh, you don't really need a bicycle. Because if you really have it, it's something good. I think it's okay to get a child, so the child is not exhausted at the end of the day. For example, this my niece is the one who runs a lot of little errands in the home. So, because I also had that childhood where I used to be exhausted a lot. So I didn't take it as anything. I wasn't offended by it. Okay.
Discipline might seem hard at the time, but its reward and benefits is encompassing in the end.
Nice.
So because I have the means to buy you a smartphone and you're just 12 or 13, doesn't necessarily mean I have to do that.
Okay.
I'm exposing you to things that at your age you should not be having access to. So these are the sort of boundaries that parents, even the parents who have the means, need to draw. Just because the money is there to buy it doesn't necessarily mean the person is ripe for it. And if you cannot set that boundary, you should be ready to deal with the consequences when it comes. So your child is now having access to the internet, and then on the internet, of course, there are a whole lot of things.
A whole lot of
positive
trash.
things that you can use to build yourself. At the same time, there are negative things that can mar your destiny and cut short your life even before you get started.
That's very harsh.
Yeah, that is the truth. That's the reality. Teenagers now are becoming porn addicts. How did he ever start?
Exactly.
They had access to the internet, to a smartphone, or
yes,
to a computer, or
yes,
to a tablet or something. These are what parents do. For instance, my 3+ years old boy has a tab. And I'm asking myself, at what age do I start looking out? What he might be looking out for on the internet? Even though it is, it is crafted for a child. Everything is all, crafted so that they do not have access to what is not of their age.
Yes.
But still, he's becoming wise. He knows that, I can do this on the internet. I can search for things on the internet. So he goes on, he's curious about something.
Yes.
He goes and search on something. Why are male and female getting married? Or why is a male getting married to a male? These are curious. They are going on the internet and looking for answers. But am I saying that we should not give them access to the internet? I'm saying, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying at a certain age, for instance, let him get to 17 or 18 before he has access to a smartphone. It's not punishment, it's a simple discipline.
Okay.
So there was this video that I came across just this week on the internet. Sorry, it's a lovely story, you will love it.
Okay.
A group of junior high students, I think, middle school students, I think it was in which state in the US, and I can't remember. We were coming back from school on a school bus. We were all in the school bus, and then one particular child noticed that the driver was having a medical emergency.
Okay.
And the vehicle was almost drifting off the road.
Wow.
So he quickly went to the driver's seat, applied the brake and brought the vehicle to a stop.
Wow.
Yeah, then police came, they rescued them at the end of the day, and then police called the father. Hello, is this Mr. This? Are you the dad? Are you the son? Are you the father of this? He said, yeah, what has he done? He said, no, this is not a bad call, it's actually a good call. Your son is a hero. He actually stopped the bus. Stopped the bus, how? They then gave him the story. that, look, this is what happened, and your son was the hero. He was the one who actually went to the driver's seat and brought the vehicle to a stop. And the question popped up, why was he the only one who saw the driver having that medical emergency? They interviewed the other students, and they were all on their phones.
Oh, wow.
This one was not on his phone. And the dad said he knows why he was the only one, because he doesn't have a smartphone.
He said that?
The dad said that. It's on the internet. Check, you will see it.
Wow.
Yes. So that is the adverse effect that these things have on our children. And we don't know. We think we are giving them what they want. It is not punishment.
True.
If you deprive them access to a smartphone at this age, whatever you know it's not going to be healthy for them at a certain age, it is not punishment to deprive them of it. It is discipline, and discipline has rewards that far more exceeds what this. I can't give you this now because you need to come of age. Are you going to say because your 12-year-old is your only child and then you have cars, I'm going to give him a car to drive?
Okay.
For some, say for instance, a bicycle, and then it is important to be sincere, and that's why we're talking about certain things that cannot be learned outside the house.
Yes.
You open up sincerely to your child and you tell them this is the state of things. We cannot afford the bicycle now. You will understand. Because at the end of the day, these children, they see what the parents are going through. They see the struggles, they see the pains, how they are working hard to put food on the table, to pay their tuitions and all of that. They see it. Parents need to know that these teenage boys actually want to make them proud. That if you want your teenage children to open up to you, open up to them first.
Exactly.
Have you ever told your teenagers a story of what you did that was wrong as a teenager growing up, or your own personal struggles, how you got into trouble with your dad?
Now everybody was all good.
Did you ever tell them anything like that? Or it's just all the positives? They will not open up to you as well.
Yes.
Because you've not been sincere with them. And they say all these things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a question from teaching that's valid. Parents have much influence on their children, of course. Akunese Oku, thank you for joining us live. She has a question. She said, I have a question, please. Mr. Greg, you were talking about parents teaching their children examples. What about in a situation where the father refuses a child certain things and the mother opposed it? Okay? So, leave the child to have whatever he or she wants. What do you think in this situation as a father? So one parent is for this and the other parent is for that. So you want to get a bicycle and one parent says, no, don't get the bicycle, and the other one says, let the child have what he or she wants. So what do you do?
This is a major problem.
Very major.
Because working with teenagers, we see a lot of this. You see, because some parents tend to be more lenient in their approach compared to the other. So, but I think the way to go about this is to have an understanding as parents.
Yes.
You must first have an understanding before you transfer it to your words. So I come together with my wife and I say, okay, let us start training our son towards this area. So it simply means that we are in agreement. So it's very difficult or very unlikely that we might have a clash in the middle of it.
Yes.
Why? Because we have had an agreement. So parents need to take the job of raising their teenagers, particularly teenagers, very seriously. It's not something that because you think you are the one paying the bills or you are the one who brought out the money,
then you get to make the decisions.
Just give him. No, I have a lot of issues with that as well. And the reason I do that with my wife sometimes, I'm like, he has not come to the age where he understands this yet. So you need to allow your son to actually, or your child to actually
enjoy childhood.
Yes, to come to a certain age before you start applying certain disciplines. There are certain disciplines if you apply now, it will not work. Not because it is not a good discipline, but you are applying it at the wrong time. But for that question, I think parents need to have an understanding between each other before they transfer to their words. So that you're not telling him one thing and the other parent is saying another thing. To bring a clash. It will not look like, oh, mom loves me more than dad, which is not healthy.
It's not healthy
for family at all. So it is really important that parents will come together and agree on a common goal to raising their words. Okay, let us do this. Let us deprive him of this. For instance, you have the money to afford a smartphone, but we have agreed that he's not going to have a smartphone until he turns 18, or at least when he's done from high school.
Yeah.
So regardless of what comes up, we have that understanding. We are not going to have that clash. So it's really important that parents work together. A lot of parents don't work together.
A lot of parents don't. Yes.
Particularly the dads. They are always absent. They are never present in their affair. Most dads, not all. Most. They just believe in just bringing money.
Yes.
And then the mom do the other job of raising.
And the truth is that I think sometimes children are even wondering, what is even my dad's opinion in this whole thing? And so because he's absent, a child, especially a boy child, can actually decide to be dismissive of whatever the mother is saying, or even it can even be the other way around. When one parent's opinion is not counting, the other child is always wondering, what is even my other parent's opinion? But I like the fact that you say that they should always try to work together. So parents, if you're listening, no matter what it is that is your opinion, at the end of the day, the focus, the target, the person that you're working on is your child. So who would you rather go out there and just be an indisciplined child, or just show forth their lack of discipline? Who would you rather spoil just because you want to prove yourself right, or you don't want to work with your husband, or you don't want to work with your wife? At the end of the day, the person who is on the receiving end is your child, and you still be the one to suffer it. And so by the way, one thing that I wanted to throw in there before we go off, before I forget this, when Mr. Greg talked about monitoring children and what is going on their phone, I just remember this habit that I have, and I want to employ every adult who is listening. Please take care of every child around you. If you don't look out for the children around you, right, they will be the ones to spoil your own children. So that's why it's a collective effort. The other day I was walking with a friend, and I saw a group of teenagers gathered and looking into their phone, whatever thing they were watching, and I went there to check what they were doing. And my friend asked me, why am I going? I said, well, it's a policy that I have. Whenever I see children or teenagers gathered and they are looking at a phone, I go there to see what it is they are watching, because I feel like it's a collective effort. So I think I'm employing everybody to do this. What are you watching? You can do it as fun. It's not like forceful. Hey, can I see what you're seeing there? Because at the end of the day, it might just be porn that they are watching, and you don't even know. And if they're watching porn and your child comes there, he's definitely going to join them to do the same thing. So please, let's look out for each other's children and make sure that we're doing this collective effort together. So quickly, Mr. Greg, I'm going to ask you the last question. Someone also is asking a different question, but this is the last question that we're going to take, unfortunately. So answer this question while you also try to conclude, because we only have less than 5 minutes remaining. So someone asked about a point where a child is only 13 years but is in SS2, senior secondary school, and the school is demanding them to have a smartphone to do their assignment. What should we do at that point? But the child is only 13 years of age.
Well, I mean, I don't really understand why they need a smartphone in school.
Okay.
Is it like he's in a boarding school?
It should definitely be day school, and they need it for assignments.
Where he doesn't need to own a smartphone. The mom or the dad can just give them their phone, and he can do the assignment from there, with their money, their supervision. You type out whatever the assignment is, they get it done, you take back your phone. That 1 extra minute you leave the phone with that boy, he has gone somewhere else.
Yes.
Because there's been conversations in school, and he's longing to have access to the internet.
Yes.
To just type out. So
exactly.
You can't shut it out for so long, but you have to try your best at least.
Okay.
So I don't understand why they must use a smartphone. But I think if that is the case, then they can use the smartphones of their parents.
Yes.
Or maybe a laptop.
Yes.
Instead of necessarily a smartphone.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to call the conversation short here. I think that this conversation is really deep and wide, so we're definitely going to bring it back. But right now, our time is over. So thank you so much, Mr. Greg Ogenyi. You can check him out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. He's a teen coach, and He's doing a great job. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today. We're so glad to have you, and I'm definitely sure that you're going to come back here again. So this is My Mental Health Naija, and we've come to the end of today's program. This is My Mental Health Naija with Dinma Amadi on Citizen 93.7 FM. If you joined us today, thank you so much for tuning in until this point. You can catch us on Facebook or YouTube. And until this time next week, Thursday, 4 p.m. See you. Take care of yourself, and always remember your mental health matters. Bye.